Hey Kenny, how you doing?
What it felt like. Haven't said a word to say. Like when you're
All right, folks, can you hear me? Do I sound like I have a double voice? Okay. Is there a double voice? Because OBS is telling me that the sound is coming through Virtual DJ and Waves microphone. They say that they hear a single voice, so apparently something in OBS is messed up. Anyway, hello and welcome everybody. Welcome and hello. Thank you for coming to the live stream today. Dangle clacks galore. Windows did an update. There's a graphics card update that just came out 15 minutes ago that my computer's yelling at me for to do. But we're going to truck on with the settings that we have. There seems to be a problem with the music not coming through. According to OBS, it is not working properly. But looking at the screen here, apparently it is working. So I don't know what's going on today. Probably goes to show you what happens when you put all your effort into it and some things are just beyond your control. So I think it's time for me to introduce our special guest once again, as usual. And he's such a special guest that the man deserves to have his very own stinger transition. I put this thing together right before the
Get ready to meet someone special. Check it out. Motivation and inspiration.
And now with great fanfare.
Get ready to meet someone special. Check it out. Motivation and inspiration. Just as good as pineapple on pizza.
Congratulations.
You scream. We scream. We all scream for...
It's the Vaping Heed on Mixin and Chillin with Hunky Vape. All right, I think I have another dangle clack here. Your voice is not coming through the way it's supposed to. Can you hear him? Can they hear you? I'm stopping the music.
Everything seems hunky-dory.
Okay, looks like it's working.
Looks like I've never changed nothing my end, so I am assuming we're... Everybody here is loud and clear, yeah?
We're back on. We're live.
We're away, are we? Hey!
Dangle clacks galore.
The gremlins are back.
Yes, they are. Windows had me do a bunch of updates. DaVinci Resolve has been nothing but a pain in my butt.
Oh, wow.
Have you had a problem with that? The waveforms for the sound on the bottom for like the first 20 seconds just don't appear.
Oh, no.
And then sometimes when you go and you play it, the music for like the first 10 seconds just doesn't exist until you move the scrub head back and forth. And then all of a sudden it starts working.
Strange.
It's very, very strange. So how have you been?
I'm good. I nearly didn't make it as I've been to the dentist today and had a tooth out and I'm a bit, ooh.
Oh, I'm congested. My daughter's had this like cough or flu or cold or something going on for like a month now. Her cough has been persistent. She's gotten tested for COVID and the whole 9 yards. And everybody's like, oh, well, she'll get over it. You know, kids, when they're going to school and then going to all these activities, they spread all kinds of germs around.
Yeah.
Well, my wife last week was sick for a week. She was all worried about it because she was at this convention right now in Minnesota for work. And she finally got over it yesterday. It wasn't that bad. It's not that bad for me either. I just started coming down with it yesterday.
Oh,
Congestion
God.
and just occasional cough. And You know, if I keep hydrated and drink my tea and go about my business, you know, it's not too bad. Take my allergy pill every day.
Well, I've had my hair cut. Well, what's left of it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the nice thing about having a wife as a hairdresser.
I think it was just, you know, get some of them tufts away, you know. So
That's why I normally wear a hat.
my hair doesn't grow down; it grows out.
You know, the whole purpose of the hat isn't just to keep the hair in; it's to keep the shinies off of my balding head.
Nothing wrong with that, mate. It's a solar panel for a sex machine. I'm telling you.
Well, let me say hello to everybody that's in chat today. Pam Spraggins, hello and welcome. Sean Lynch, hello. Dusty Country Road, hello. Cloud Chucker, hello and welcome to the show. Chasing Clouds and Flavor Reviews, hello and welcome. I appreciate you giving me a little feedback there. Professor Milky, hello and welcome. Daryl Robishu, hello and welcome. Awesome. Lovely to see all these people in chat today.
It is. It's very good, very good. Welcome, 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 one and all.
You're going to have to go back and watch the actual live stream like I normally do after the show to see how your new little stinger transition worked out, because you can't hear it.
I kind of seen it, but I couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear it. I took it right from your intro videos and just added a little screen to it and did my little audio effects tweaking and whatnot.
Oh, it's awesome, man. Awesome.
You know about Mike Russell? I've got a couple plugins and stuff that has his presets on it and stuff. And I've played with them before, but I actually went and watched one of his videos. He used to have a free Jingle Friday where every Friday, you know, he would do a live stream and he would do all of the jingles that people, you know, paid money for throughout the week. And anybody that's in chat, you know, did a super chat or whatever, he would do a little jingle for them on the live stream. And then after the show was over, you go on, you download your little jingle and you get to use it as much as you want.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, so I came across his stuff and I'm like, okay. And well, you can download all their WAV files and stuff and make your own jingles with their stuff. Yeah. So I put something together for you.
Well, you know, when in Rome, why not?
Little payback for last week. Your little dig that you did last week. Hey, that's the whole purpose of us being here, is to have a little fun and some banter, carry on. Good mates always have to have some entertaining banter for the audience around.
Well, of course you do. Yeah, well, like I said, I've visited my dentist this week. I'm getting another tooth pulled. They've took an impression the day for me new dentures, so I'll be getting me new teeth very soon.
Ah.
I'm getting that age, mate, where, you know, you put your teeth in the glass every night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I wouldn't have lost my tooth when I was a young kid, because it's a Maryland bridge fixed across the front of my teeth, you know, I'd probably be having the same type of issues too.
Oh, well, that's terrible. Just a simple denture. That'll do me. I don't like too much fanny on. Something simple. I'm a simple man with simple needs.
Wisdom teeth are the worst.
Oh, God.
I had 3 sets of wisdom teeth pulled as I was growing up.
Not good.
The dentist said, you know, I've never come across anybody. I know that it's possible to get 3 sets, but I've never come across anybody that actually had 3 sets of wisdom teeth.
That's weird. That's a rarity, that, like.
Yeah.
Very good.
Genetics. Lovely. Family history.
Science. It's all in the science.
So just a quick rundown of what we're going to be doing today. I got the Mike Vapes Rebirth RTA that we're going to be putting a set of coils in there and trying this thing out. I sincerely hope the airflow is as wide as everybody was saying that it is. It's
all right.
It's unlike his normal stuff. His normal stuff is kind of restricted. Not much as Bogan's, but he likes things on the restricted side.
Yeah.
So we're going to give that a try, see how that is. I also have a set of batteries that Need a new set of wraps put on them. It's just a little tiny little ding in it, but battery safety is always an important issue, so might as well cover it. It only takes, but 30 seconds to rip this off, 30 seconds to put a new sleeve on it, and 5 seconds for the heat gun to shrink it, new wrap on it. So figure might as well cover that. We'll throw together some recipe. And speaking of recipes, the Prince, just not sweet enough for me, mate.
Really?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh.
I like the custard. I like the peach. It's wonderful, but it just needs a little bit of sweetness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I looked at the recipe, and there's no sweetener in it.
I don't think he likes using sweeteners that much, to be honest with you. Because obviously you get a lot of sweeteners in your manufactured juices anyway, so...
Well, they're overkill.
Yeah, I don't think he likes using a lot of sweeteners in his juices. I thought it was okay.
So I think I'm gonna throw a bit of sweetener in it and see how it is. And
like you say, it's a basic recipe, and you can tweak it how you will, and how you would like to. That's the point.
And that's the advantage of DIYing your own liquids, is you can literally make it any way you like it and customize it to your flavor. I mean, there's so many recipes out there that are fantastic, but some of them, are way too sweet. Some of them are supposed to be way too sweet. I mean, if you're supposed to be, replicating a cola syrup, it's going to be sickeningly sweet.
Yeah.
But when you do DIY, you can mix it up, and then the next batch, you can make little modifications to tweak it to your liking. Cut back on the sweeteners, or drop the sweetener altogether. If you don't like the honey aspect to that recipe, just drop that flavor.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? That's the beauty of it.
Dusty Country Road says that he put 1% in the Prince. That'll be good for you.
Yeah.
1% is super sweet. It's good.
Yeah.
Most recipes I come across have, 0.5% or 0.75%. Some of them push it up to 2%, but it all depends on the recipe and the other ingredients that are in there. Some of the flavors that you have, like peach, has a lot of malic acid in it. So, it needs to be tamed down. And there's different ways of doing it. Strawberry ripe is one of those ingredients that you can put in to tame down the peach. And that's what he did on his recipe there.
Yeah, he had that in, didn't he? Strawberry ripe. I'm sure he had that in. Yeah. Chasing Clouds and Flavor Reviews says most people post their recipes without sweetener. It's implied that you add your own, but I always put the percentage of sweetener that I use and write a description saying I like my juice sweet. There you go.
That's very good. And I've gotten...
Good point. Like you say, a lot of them probably put them up without sweetener and give you the option to add it.
Yeah. I feel bad because I haven't been doing a good job documenting. I'm sitting here telling everybody, what you need to do and whatnot, but I went back and looked at my recipes because I went and started labeling them, and I went to look at the labeling and I'm like, okay, well, what recipe is this? And I went to click on it and I'm like, there's no notes on it or anything. Somebody left a comment on the one recipe and they're like, man, I'd love to get some flavors, ingredients. Where can I find them at? I'm like, I should have put the link in my recipe. I mean, most people would just Google FLAVRZ because it's kind of unusual. And, the website and their social media things would all show up. But yeah, I need to get better on documenting the notes of these recipes.
The more information you have, the easier it is when you go back to it,
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Especially the amount of bloody recipes you go through.
I have. I've got a whole box of them sitting here. I don't know if I'm going to catch up. You're going to have to go and help me do these testings. Your Christmas care package is going to be a lot bigger than I originally planned. Speaking of going back and looking at recipes, this watermelon lemonade that I made, episode 4, I've revisited that. It's been sitting here in this tank. And I think I pushed the flavor ingredients on it just a little too much. Once a juice sits around here for 3-4 weeks to a month, those ingredients all kind of balance out and you get a different profile than what you did when it's on a shake and vape. As a shake and vape, that thing was fantastic just the way it is. But after it's been sitting here for a while, it's like, I could probably cut back some of these flavor percentages some. It's still a decent recipe, but I've found over the experience that when you make a recipe, it's got to be really good in the beginning. A week later, it can get a little bit better. But if it starts going bad after a week, you're something wrong with your recipe percentages. Not enough, too much.
Right.
This is Hunky Vape. You made it. Yeah, they
Hello,
were commenting
Mrs.
about your haircut.
Yeah. Hello, Mrs. H.
So this is one that I'm going to have to revisit and tweak a little bit.
How good I look. I've got no teeth in my head. I don't look that good. I'm trying not to smile. I'm just covering my mouth.
Nah. You are who you are.
What the hell, eh? What the hell?
Yeah, Mallory Gates is really good at, telling people about the advocacy for vaping. Michael Redfern's been out there pounding the streets and stuff. And something that, you'll see in the thumbnail for this episode is We Vape, We Vote. There's a tour going around the country right now. Started in Arizona. It's working its way east. And I'm going to be going to the event here in Pittsburgh tomorrow, 3 p.m., Coilhead Vapors. It's in Millvale, Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh, just a hair north. Like, you could probably throw a softball and get it into the city limits. But it's kind of depressing when I take a look at the fact that, here we are literally losing our rights to all these products. The FDA has just literally not approved anything other than big tobacco products. And everybody's just going about their business like it's nothing happening.
Yeah, it's normally the case, isn't it? I think a lot of people think somebody else will do it. You know what I mean? Rather than them doing anything.
I'm concerned about the UK right now.
Oh,
To be honest
what?
with you, I've read some articles lately that they don't know what the position of the UK is going to be with the new PM you guys got.
The politics in the UK in the moment are absolute joke. I think the consensus is that the Tories or the Conservatives who are in government here, after they ousted Boris Johnson and obviously voted in Liz, they now want rid of her. Because a mini budget was an absolute shambles. So she sacked her original chancellor. Another guy's come in as a chancellor and basically took everything she'd done and went whoosh, and threw it in the bin. So they think she is the prime minister, but she's not in control. So there's a lot of unrest.
Yeah, it doesn't look good when you're the leader out there, advocating for this or advocating for this, and this is what you want to do, and then all your subordinates just go do whatever they want.
The thing is, nobody knows if she's pro or anti-vaping. We don't know where she swings on that one.
Yeah.
I know, like, before Boris got hired out, I think he had something in place. Obviously the new TPD or whatever that we're trying to, make our own law on. And all that obviously went in the bin when he got hoisted out. So it could be another year, it could be 2 years, because I think they've only got another, year and a half, 2 years in office, and then it's going to be a general election. So everything is just pie in the sky at the moment with vaping here, like absolute pie in the sky. We're still under the old EU laws at the moment, pretty much.
Yeah. You're kind of in limbo like we are here.
Yeah.
The FDA gave the deadline for PMTA applications to be in, and the court gave them a 1-year time limit to complete all those applications. Obviously, it's impossible to complete 8 million applications in a year and actually read what's in them. I covered that in, a news bit that I did a while back. How long does it actually take to read these scientific document applications for this stuff? And, just one person sitting down reading it calculated into the decades how long it would take them to go through these applications just to actually read them and understand them.
I mean, I don't think it's all doom and gloom here. I mean, obviously, you know, the Tories are kind of pro vape and they're pretty proactive in vape, and you know, we've got vape shops and hospitals now. So I don't think, you know, we're in any kind of trouble that way regarding bans or anything. Like, I think we'll still be, you know, they'll still be promoting vaping, but again, you know, it's all the TPD stuff and that's just been put on the back boiler again, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the same situation here with the FDA. They haven't approved anything, but the FDA not only doesn't have the time and resources to actually read all these applications from cover to cover, they literally had to come up with some solution to just axe a bunch of the ones as not being complete and thorough. And they don't have the manpower to actually go and enforce. I mean, are they going to literally go after 15,000 vape shops in this country and send every single one of them an inspector and documentation and warrants and fines and all this other stuff?
Yeah, it's a lot to police, like, isn't it? Big thing to police. But like I say, I mean, you know, with the current political climate in this country, you know, the cost of living crisis and utility bills being through the roof, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're obviously going to take any kind of priority, you know. It's just the day-to-day run of the country, isn't it? So I can kind of see where they're coming from in that sense, because, you know, it is dire over here, really, the cost of living crisis and everything at the minute. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy here, too. You don't realize it until the utility bills come in at the end of the month, and it's like, whoa, what happened here? Why?
Exactly. You know, there's going to be a lot of people in, you know, poverty, you know, over the winter. You know, they're going to have fuel poverty. It's like they've got a slogan out: you either heat or you eat. You know, that's the way they're looking at it for some of them. So it's a bit gloomy time. So I think they need to get their act together with that anyway, before anything, without a doubt.
Yeah, change and uncertainty is the highest cost. Yeah, everything was shut down for COVID. They sent out, you know, money to get us through the COVID lockdowns, and then they reopened everything back up, and now all of a sudden you got more demand than you've got production capacity. And with the way the businesses are operating nowadays with just-in-time inventories, there's no way for them to rapidly adjust to the demand that's required by the consumers.
I mean, you know, they're blaming it on a lot of global things. You know, obviously the war in Ukraine, that's getting the blame for a lot of stuff. Obviously the fuel prices going up and down. I mean, our fuel prices have dropped a little, but obviously, like, when the fuel prices are up, the cost of transporting goods and all that stuff goes up with it. Hence, you know, all your products and everything in the shop. So, you know, it's the same kind of excuses all the time at the moment. So we're just like, well, you know, what are you going to do about it? And that's the big question. What can they do about it? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of a global thing rather than an actual UK thing.
Yeah, and it's the same with vaping and stuff. You know, if they do crack down on it, it's going to be just like you're trading in standards right now, playing whack-a-mole, trying to go around all the corner shops and, you know, bust them for illegally selling a product that does not fall in their regulations.
Yeah.
You know, you can't stop a consumer demand just because you pass a law. It doesn't change consumer demand. If anything, it increases it.
And then if they ban it, then you get your black markets, making a fortune out of it.
Professor Milky says, I bet Liz doesn't give a damn and is busy screwing everything else up.
You're probably right, bud. Probably right.
William Dobson says Science and Technology Committee was due to discuss vaping as independent from tobacco.
Yeah, we heard about that, yeah.
Another reason the Tories were pro-vaping was because the anti-smoking service was changed to chemists dealing with smokers wanting to give up.
Yeah, that's true as well, yeah. You're totally right, William. Totally right, man.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry has always got to get their claws into the situation before things get out of hand.
I think what they've done was, like, in the older days, if you wanted to give up smoking, you used to go and see your GP, you know, your doctor. But, you know, obviously now they've passed that on to our local pharmacists now to deal with that kind of stuff. So it's just another way of cutting costs, I suppose, for the NHS.
Yeah. I see stuff in Australia being posted about, if Australia truly cared about trying to balance their budget and save some cost on healthcare, ditch this whole prescription model for vaping.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's down to the doctor as well. The doctor can, even if you get a script, the doctor can refuse to give you a script because it says it depends if the doctor sees, a good reason for you to have it. And like, well, what do you do if the doctor says no? You're going to go black market, aren't you?
Yeah, and they were even talking about passing a law that says that if your doctor says no to you, you can't go to another doctor.
Exactly, aye.
At least the healthcare system isn't going to pay for it. You can pay for it out of your pocket if you want.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Honestly, it's absolute madness. You just kind of get your head around some of the thinking behind it, can you?
Yeah, healthcare is a fundamental human right, no matter where you are on the planet. And the government shouldn't be telling you what to do with your own health choices.
It's your body, your choice, yeah.
Yeah. If I get cancer, I have the right to say, no, I don't want that chemotherapy. No, I don't want radiation therapy. I'm going to take my chances and let my body go the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they think that, if you want to stop smoking, they can tell you how you got to do it.
Or push their products onto you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it ends up being.
I mean,
William Dobson says, I wonder if the NHS pod system will go ahead. That's a good question.
Yeah, it was lined up. They were looking, I know they were looking at a manufacturer stroke supplier to supply them. So and that was the last I heard of it. So whether that's been shelved since Boris went as well, we don't know.
Yeah, a lot of things are up in the air right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Dale Robinshoe, my apologies. The patches do not work. The gum doesn't work. Vaping works.
Exactly.
I can confirm that.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think we've mentioned before, it's not just about giving up the smoking, it's the habit of having the heart that's that habit as well. So the vaping replaces that. Patches and gum don't. It's as simple as that. And that's the habit. That's why it works. You're still doing the habit of, inhaling something from
the hand-to-mouth
whatever.
action.
Yeah, and that's why it works. It's as simple as that. Absolutely simple as that.
And these habits are not just, addiction habits. These are coping skills that people have developed over their lifetime. You get into a stressful situation. This is your key to go, you know what? I need to remove myself from the situation, go step outside, get some breathing treatments in me, and I'll calm down and come back and reevaluate the situation with a clear head.
Exactly.
And just because you give up, lighting, cigarettes on fire doesn't mean that you can give up the whole behavior aspect on how you deal with stress in life.
That's totally it. Like I say, you kind of like program yourself into that habit. It's just it's just like normality, like where you've got to go up and get to the toilet every day. It's the same kind of program. It's normality for you. You know what I mean? So it's a hard habit to break, as that famous God once said.
And do you really want to break it? I mean, if you find something that has minimal risk, then why wouldn't you continue to do it if it works for you?
Exactly.
The pain and suffering you're going to deal with trying to completely break it cold turkey is just absolutely ridiculous.
No, I've tried that a couple of times and that does not work. I can tell you that from experience. It does not work. My God, no.
Patches don't work as they go out every time you light them. Yeah, I had the same thing. I had the Nicotrol inhaler, one of those little freaking fag cartridges. You shove the nicotine sponge inside there, and you went outside and used that thing. It's supposed to replicate hand to mouth, gave you the nicotine, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I got done with that thing, I was dying for a cigarette twice as bad as I was before I walked outside.
Yeah.
It wasn't able to deliver that nicotine fast enough, and there was no other benefit to it other than trying to replace your nicotine.
Yeah. Like I say, it's not just down to nicotine, it's habit. It's habit as well. You know, it's probably like muscle memory, you know, when you play a musical instrument, muscle memory, it'll be the same thing, muscle memory with that.
Yeah. Daryl Rubbish says, my COPD was at stage 3, went to the doctor the other day, and she said I might be at stage 2. Now my breathing is doing so much better, not coughing and gagging every morning.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, lots of scientific studies that were done on the COPD and how it reverses, ameliorates because of vaping.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense if you think about it from a plain scientific perspective. You know, the PG and VG is an antiseptic, so it's going to kill whatever viruses or germs are along the way. Hospitals been using that since before the 1950s.
Dawn of time, basically.
You're going to actually create a little bit of irritation in your lungs and stuff, which is going to help expel all of the tar that's built up in your lungs over the decades of smoking.
It's just so many pros for it, and there's very few cons. And like I say, the politicians use scaremongering as the cons rather than the pros.
Yeah.
You know. But we know what like I say, the big wigs is just all about money for them, and it's just about making the next dollar, innit? It's not about your health.
Yeah. Unfortunately, money, the bottom line is always going to be the dollar.
Yeah.
Who can make the most amount of money, and then how do they get the politicians to ensure that they keep making their money?
When it comes to the dollar, we're all expendable. Definitely.
William Dobson says that the coughing in the morning is the first thing that goes out the door. It did for me too.
Yeah.
And when you lay down at night, at the end of the day, you don't have that breathing problems that you did. The rails and the rhonchi build up in your lungs and the wheezing that you hear, on the very end of your exhale.
Oh, yes. I remember them days. Not good. Not
Thank
good,
goodness. Finally found it.
Oh, God, yeah. Like I say, I was a very, very long-term smoker, very heavy smoker. Went through all the stuff to try. Nothing worked. And then I found the vaping. And even then, when I first vaped, I didn't like it. The amount of times I went, don't like that. I'd rather have a fag. Oh, don't like that. Rather have a fag. But, But it's not just, it's not just down to whatever method, device, whatever, to do to stop smoking. You've got to want to stop smoking as well.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to have that mindset. If you don't want to quit, then you won't. It doesn't matter what you use. It's as simple as
alcoholics have the same deal. You can tell an alcoholic how bad it is for their health, and you can have them admitted to the hospital, how many times. Same thing with cocaine addicts and other drug addicts, heroin addicts and pain pills. When they're stuck on that, you can tell them all you want until they reach their rock bottom and they made a decision to turn their life around. You can't convince people to make the right health choice.
No.
Knowledge and education is the only way that you can make an actual difference in somebody's life. Teach them what they're doing to themselves. Teach them what, the alternatives are. Show them the way out. And then when they're ready, they're going to take it out. It's the old saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him to drink.
No, that's true. So I'm just clouding my room out a bit here. What did I get wrong? The funny you mentioned that, there was like a news story on this morning about a guy. I mean, it's just not vaping, but it was ex-cons. How when they come out and X amount of percent will reoffend and go back in. And this guy was saying, obviously, because when they come out, they've got the record, they can't get a job or nothing. So he set up this thing where he recycled pedal bike cycles, and they rebuilt them, and they teach them cycle mechanics and all that stuff. And he give them the skills to think, well, hey, I can make something of this, and that's what it was education, teaching and learning to get them out of that cycle of obviously going back to crime to do whatever they did, and I thought that was, that was really good. You know what I mean? Anyway.
William Dobson also points out that the pharmaceutical industry is heavily involved in tobacco manufacturing, from the pesticides to the bleach in the paper.
Definitely.
And the filters. Those are all pharmaceutical grade sponges that they use for the filters in a cigarette.
Oh, they've all got their thumb in the pie. You know, you think they're separate entities, but they've all got their thumb in the same pie, without a doubt. Yeah. Definitely. One, to be quite honest, one really couldn't exist without the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're all scrubbing each other's back, making a profit off of our healthcare problems.
It's mad, man. Absolutely crazy. But it's the world we live in, isn't it?
And once again, I was on Top Chat, not Live Chat.
Oh, what you like.
And with all the bad press and untrue statements from the press to social media, it's harder to convince people that vaping is the healthier option. Yeah, I went off on Twitter this morning for probably a good half hour replying to a thread where there was all kinds of people chiming in saying, you know, oh, that you got popcorn lung and this is going to be worse for you. And, you know, all those nicotine oils are what's going to kill people. Think you can't breathe in oil. I'm like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's no oil in a nicotine vape.
The clue is in the title, Vape.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, you have THC vaping, cannabis vaping. And the thing, when you boil out or extract out the THC from the marijuana leaves, that is an oil-based substance. They have to hydrolyze, I don't even know how to pronounce it, hydrolyze the oil to get it to dissolve into a substance like VG in order for them to be able to vape it, which I don't understand why they want to vape it. It's just a fad. You can eat it. You can just swallow it. You can cook it in your baking foods. You can smoke it. I mean, why do they have to vape it? Just because it's the newfangled technology thing.
It's well, I suppose it's just like it's the inhalation in it through your bloodstream. You get a quicker hit, so to speak.
I guess I never thought about that perspective. That's true.
Yeah, it's just how we inhale the cigarette, we inhale with vape, because you get a quicker, it gets a quicker nick. You get a quicker hit through your oxygen.
So a marijuana user would also get a quicker reaction if it was actually absorbed through their lungs.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
If you make an omelette or pie with it, it'll take a few hours because obviously it's got to go through your digestive system and then get absorbed that way. So it's just the speed of the hit is why they'll vape it. But I mean, at the end of the day,
but a tincture, you could put a tincture in your mouth, sublingual absorption underneath your tongue. There's that's the most vascular region of your body.
Yeah,
that
as well.
They could absorb it that way.
It's like you can look at it that way. You can look at the chewing tobacco, isn't it? You're chewing it, and then you spit.
That's something that really surprised me. Watching the Casal live streams, and they were talking about it, how dip isn't actually as bad for you as they would make you think it is. From a health perspective, sure, it's bad for your teeth, but from an oral cancer perspective, the actual cancer rates that they've done in the studies are not what they make you think it is. They make you think it's just as bad as actually lighting a cigarette on fire.
I mean,
and it's much less than that.
I think, obviously, I do believe that cannabis can be good. It has got medicinal advantages when they take the THC out. I mean, I think you can get prescription cannabis here in the UK. I mean, it's a last resort. They'll try other stuff before they give you it, but they have been producing prescription cannabis here. It's just, there's no THC in it. It's just as simple as that. Just like your CBD oils you get. They're a similar thing, but there's no THC in.
Yeah. And THC does have medicinal quantities. I mean, I know people that have had seizures that can't take the pharmaceutical products that are out there. And you can get a child or an infant that's having a seizure, you can give them sublingual THC and it'll stop the seizure.
Well, we had a lady, I think, she's up north where we are, but she's just more west. I think she was either Cumbria or Carlisle way, and she was always getting prosecuted because she used to grow her own cannabis, but it was for MSE. She used to use it for MSE suffering, but the thing that got her into trouble, she was giving it to other MSC suffers, so they were classing her as a dealer.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But people do that. People do that. I don't care what you're talking about. You know, you get a pain pill or something. You go to the dentist and you get a root canal done, and the doctor gives you the pain pills. You might take them for 2 or 3 days and then put the leftovers in the cupboard. You wake up one morning and go, oh, it's not that bad. I'm not going to take anything today. And you have, you know, half a dozen pills left over. You know, if your son twists his ankle and stuff, you know, here, you can take one of these, get you through the first couple days. Mm-hmm. And then you're classified as a dealer because you're dispensing medication.
Exactly, it's mad, isn't it?
It all comes down to about the money.
Of course it is. Because you give somebody some of your medication and made no money out of it, you see. Crazy, crazy world, man.
You can't roll it, so better to try and vape it.
Crazy, man. Absolute madness.
Well, let's switch over ahead, see where the camera's at. I moved everything around in here, working on stuff lately. Try and move this out of the way. Oh, now it's in the other camera.
You shot there, mate. Yeah, they didn't shot. Oops.
We'll get it figured out.
Speaking of cameras, you know, I'm just getting a new mobile phone.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I got the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV.
Ah.
My question is, right, with this camera, do you need a DSLR? Because the 3 cameras are on the front there, I'll just put it up there. All of them can shoot 4K at 120 FPS.
Hold on, mate. Let me get you switched over so they can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's it there.
That's fantastic.
All them 3 cameras on the front, you've got a 16, you've got a 24, and you've got an 85 to 125, which is optical zoom, not digital. And they all shoot 4K 120 frames per second. Is that mad or not? And then your front facing camera can also shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. Do you need a DSLR? You've got something like that in your hand?
Yeah, my wife's phone is the same. She's got one of those Samsung Galaxy 22, whatever they are.
S22s, yeah.
S22s. 5 cameras on that thing. They have a telephoto camera on there. They got a macro camera on there. I mean,
and
we went.
They can do 8K then for a short period of time as well.
Yeah. We went to the Smoky Mountains, and as you're driving through the mountains, they have mountains all around you and stuff. And we stopped at the one overlook out there, and you can look down into the gully, into the valley, and you can also look up to the top of the mountain. She literally took her S22, held the thing up, and used her telephoto lens to zoom into a single pine tree on the very top of the mountain, and took a picture of that. And it looked like she was maybe 100 yards away from it.
It's phenomenal, isn't it, what they're doing now, man? Absolutely phenomenal. I was thinking about just getting rid of me DSLR and just stick with this. Start with this again. But wow, man, you know, the technology, man, it's just... Oh. Now, you imagine, like, say, that's in a mobile phone. You imagine trying to buy a camera, an actual DSLR movie camera that can shoot that. It would cost you thousands. You know what I mean?
Tabitha, hello and welcome.
Hello.
Okay, so I don't have a fancy wrap to put on today. I mean, actually I do, but I like to differentiate my batteries. And somebody left a comment on my video from the live stream when we did the last time, the battery. They were like, you know, why is it that you go to some websites and they can charge you $7 for 2 wraps, and then in other places you can buy them in bulk? Is there any real difference to them? And my answer is, to be honest, I don't know 100%. What the difference between the 1 and the 2 is, but more than likely, if one's cheaper, that's the one I'm going to end up going out and buying. This whole box of 300 battery wraps will last me my lifetime. It cost me $10. and was delivered overnight from Amazon.
I would tend to go. I mean, like you said, you've got that big box there, which are just plain colours. But I think if you pay for some with fancy designs on, then obviously that's going to cost you more, isn't it? But whether it's like the quality issue, whether some are cheap and chatty and some are good, but I don't know.
Well, I'm sure that there is some differences in them, as far as the actual mill thickness of the plastic itself. I know for a fact these
right.
Omwork batteries, the wraps that come on these things, I mean, these are as good as any AA, AAA battery that you would buy in the store. I don't think I'm ever going to have to replace the wrap that's on this battery. And that's just a choice of the manufacturer.
Yeah, maybe you should say it's a thickness, because like I've rewrapped a couple of batteries, and when you put them in a device, some go in lovely, and then when you put them in another device, they go tight with a different wrap on. So I'm just wondering if there's a bit of thickness on the wraps as well.
I'm sure there is, but you know what? When I can pick up 300 of these for $10,
oh, you're not going to grumble.
There ain't no way I'm going to spend $7 on 2 wraps.
At the end of the day, if they do that job, they protect your batteries, and Bob's your uncle, isn't it?
That's like you can reuse the plastic that they have on here as the end insulator.
Yeah.
But once again, spend a couple bucks and buy the actual insulation rings, because of the fact, or don't. I mean, the choice is up to you, but I like the fact that these ones are self-adhesive. So when I put this thing on here, it'll hold itself in place when I go to slide the ring on. And if it's off center, you can literally bump it over and move it, and it will stay once you get it where you like it. This is why I don't wrap coils. Here I am holding a battery and can't even get the thing aligned right.
It's always the same when you're doing a live, mate. Nothing goes right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this was only a couple bucks, $3 or something like that. I got 100 end wraps on there.
Yeah. Kind of gone wrong. Can't go wrong at all. I've seen some people double wrap them. They put a wrap over a wrap.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You could.
Yeah. Let's see if you do get like a thin wrap. You could probably put another one on to thicken it up. I don't know. It's something I've never really looked into, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, this one's seen better days. It's nearing the end of its life. But you know what? Until it actually starts dropping in performance, I'm not going to drop it.
Mine tend to last. I tend to go about a year. Roughly every year, I do a full battery replace. But I mean, not that I've got loads and loads of them. You know what I mean? Because I rotate them anyway.
Well, for somebody that doesn't replace them until they actually go bad, I can tell you for a fact that they do actually are like alkaline batteries. They will get to a point where they'll charge real quick and they won't last in your device. Then you know that that's definitely past that battery's life. Then again, I'm not, using mech mods. So it's not ultra critical for me to have, 100% brand new battery. All these mods have safety features built into them, overcurrent, overdraw, and voltage protection and whatnot.
But even so, like I say, I mean, like with all that protection, you still need to keep your batteries in good nick. You know what I mean? Even though they're insulated inside and all that stuff, it doesn't take much. It does not take much.
And there is a difference between, the cheap mods and the good mods. Like here, we got this one here. I picked this thing up on clearance. This is some old mod, Vapor Storm Puma. It's a good mod. It's got, all your standard features and whatnot. But there's a definite quality difference between something like this. When you take a look at the battery terminals, the sharp edges that, are on here. Sure, it's rolled down and stuff, but if you run your finger on there, you can feel that that's got an actual lip on it.
Yeah.
And then you get, something that's a little higher quality like this, And there's a definite difference on the quality, even on the end wraps. So in some ways you get what you pay for.
Oh, definitely. That's across the board with everything in it, really, isn't it?
But there's always going to be that one guy that's going to charge you an astronomical price for something that really doesn't warrant that price.
Oh, yes, definitely. Okay. Where was that? I was just looking at something there, that's all. Yeah,
Just trying to get this battery wrap centered on there. Sorry there's no music in the background today, folks. I don't know what's going on with it.
Everything went pear-shaped.
To eliminate the problem we had last week, this week's expenditure was for a new router. The router we had was 2.5 years old.
You tricked yourself, eh?
Had a tri-core processor. This new one's a quad-core, moved up from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6.
Ooh.
Which is good for your cell phones because what it enables your cell phone to do is disconnect or reduce power and only ramp up to power whenever it actually calls for something from the internet. And the router basically sets a time that it can do that and it can drop out. And then, hey, I'm going to check with you to make sure you're still here, in 2 hours or an hour, whatever the time limit is. And your phone will the battery will last longer because of using Wi-Fi 6 over Wi-Fi 5.
Clever stuff. Our Wi-Fi is terrible over here. The cable connection, brilliant, but Wi-Fi, God, it's awful. Absolutely awful. You go upstairs or something and your signal is absolutely, terrible. They're using a proper heat gun and not a hairdryer, you're all posh.
My wife does crafting, so.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, you're all posh. It's clever stuff, these things have battery wraps. Look at that, man. Mint.
Good as new.
There you go. Fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have Harbor Freight stores around you in the UK there. They're a big thing here that's a store from Chinese manufactured tools and stuff.
Yeah.
Started out as an import company, catalog company. I used to order from them back when I first got out of high school, ordering tools to work on the vehicles. Because, you can go to Harbor Freight, buy a set of wrenches, and, pay 20 quid for it. Whereas you go to the Craftsman, go to Sears to buy it, you're going to pay 120 for the same basic set.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's not going to be 100% quality, lifetime guaranteed tool. But you know what? It'll get their vehicle back on the road over the weekend.
Definitely.
Well, you can go buy a heat gun from there for like 10, 12 bucks. It's cheaper than buying a hairdryer.
We've just got like big, how would you put it? How could hardware superstores type of thing, like your B&Qs and stuff like that. That's the main kind of thing for getting anything like that, tools and stuff like that. There's, there's other ways, there's DIY and there's all sorts of plants and God knows what, but they do have big like tool sections, buy power tools, wrenches, socket sets, all that kind of stuff.
William Dobson says, mechanical mods, I'm always more concerned with batteries if the batteries are married. Yes, that's something else that you definitely need to be concerned about. Just like you noticed on here, these I only have one set of brown batteries. And those are married together. Where's the other one? I just pulled out. This is a set of batteries. I got multiple ones of these. So I labeled them. This is my B2 set. Oh, not overhead. This is my B2 set. Just throw a label on there. to keep them together and always use them in pairs. I used to have a triples pair back when I was using the mod that has the 3 batteries.
Yeah. I've got like 4 Q30s there, but they're purely and solely for the mechanical mods that I use. There's your B3s.
Even the battery technology has gotten so much better. I can't believe it. You know, I ordered a set of P26As. They were 18650s, and now they got the 28 P28s that perform better, last longer, has just a little bit more capacity, and still has the high amp rating on it.
Pretty cool.
They reformulate the chemistry inside these batteries, and they just keep getting better and better as time goes on.
It's like when I bought me, what did I buy again? Oh, when I bought me gimbal for me camera, I bought a Zion gimbal. And the guy turned around and says, no, it takes 18650 batteries. He says, oh, do you want some extra batteries with it? You know, you can have them for such and such a price. I went, have you, mate? I've got tons of them.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, huh?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using a sharper to mark your batteries. You don't have to use a label maker. I just happen to have one because of the DIY liquid mixing.
I can say if you can even keep them in a pouch out the way, or you can store them separately. As long as you know where they are. No doubt. Oh. See, even William Dobson's agreed with us. He said, that's posh, he uses a marker pen.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. First look for you. I got a product in for review. It's the Oxva X-Lim Extreme Flavor. Little pod device. And I love the fact it's got a screen on it.
Yeah.
I love the Origin, but there's no screen. All you got is the blinky lights. Works really good.
Mm.
I guess they're trying to compete with Caliburn.
The Caliburn G on it, something like that.
Yeah.
That's
I'm going to start the review on that not tomorrow, Thursday.
I've never really took the pod systems. I don't know if it's just me or I've just had bad luck with them, but I always found like some of the ones I had always leaked. And I mean awfully. And they were terrible. And I just avoided them after that. I was just sick of getting covered in e-liquid or actually inhaling e-liquid. They were that bad, some of them.
This Origin SE, I'm telling you, man, that's as good as any disposable, as good as any big mod.
Yeah.
And is there anything in there?
It's dry as a bone, isn't it? Oh, some of the ones I had, you could pour that out and fill the bottle back up.
Oh yeah, I've had some bad ones too.
Yeah, and I think it just deterred us from them. You know what I mean? I mean, they were good flavour-wise and everything. They were alright, but just the leaking issues I had were absolutely woeful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like the Smock. The TFV8 coil when they first came out with that one, they were prone to leak. And there's no quality control that they, could find because you'd open up one box of coils and they'd be perfect and then it wouldn't leak for you at all. Somebody else would open up a box of coils and it would leak for them the first night.
Even their early pod systems, the RPM 40 and the RPM 80, leaked like a pig. Honestly, they leaked like hell. Absolutely awful. And sometimes, you didn't even have to vape. You could just leave them stand there 5 minutes, then you just get up, then you just get a mouthful of juice, and you're like, what the hell? And it was just, they were bad, really bad. And I think I've never really touched them since. I mean, I will admit there's probably much better ones out there now on the market, but I've just avoided them for that simple reason.
Yeah, there's one thing you can guarantee yourself.
Yeah, but it's the same with tanks. That's why I prefer top airflows now. Because a bottom airflow tank will leak on you eventually. It doesn't matter what you say or do, it will leak eventually. Or you'll get condensation out the bottom, which will soak your mod. It's just a fact the way they are, and that's why I prefer like the top airflow tanks now. I know they're practically leak proof. You know what I mean? The worst scenario, one of them, is you might oversaturate it or whatever, or you might flood the deck and you get a mouthful of juice, but that's it. You'll not have it leaking all over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Here's a question for you. Dusty Country Road asks, I was wondering how your wick affects the flavor of your vape. Still cannot get the mouth-to-lung RTA from Vapefly to get good flavor, except when he drips on it.
Oh, God. There could be a number of things. Too much wick, too little wick, too tightly, if you pull it through your coil too tight. There's a number of things, It could be putting too much wick into your wicking channels, like compressing it in rather than just having it sit loose. That there's a multitude of things really that can make such a difference.
More than likely, you are choking out the coil from the sounds of it. If you can drip on it, that means those wicks aren't pulling enough liquid into, or your coil's not able to keep up with the juice flow that your wicks are providing. It's just the difference, and that's the problem, especially when you're dealing with mouth-to-lung stuff. The coils are so tiny that the difference between not enough and too much is so narrow, it's hard sometimes to get a really accurate wicking of your thing. That's why shoelace cotton has really become popular.
Sometimes they're not very forgiving. You can either get it right or you can get it badly wrong. It's like everything else. It's down to practice and preference. Obviously, recently a lot of people thin their wicks out with their tweezers. When I started vaping, nobody done that. You just bang the coffin in, get it in, and that was it. But now they thin the cotton out on the end, so maybe it's that. You could try that. You know what I mean? Cotton bacon. I love that stuff.
This is Firebolt cotton. Firebolt is a much thinner diameter, wick-wise, than a lot of the other shoelace-type cottons that are out there. And, like, if you, on some of the big 3mm things, you'll watch Daniel even put 3 of these into a coil. Especially you get a 3.5mm coil. You'll put 3 of these in there instead of just 1 or 2. Because these things are perfect when you're doing mouth-to-lung stuff to get that to fit through a 2.5mm coil.
Well, there you go. There's another point you made. It could be the type of cotton you're using as well.
And if you're trying to do it from actual tufts of cotton like this, it's difficult to try and get the exact same, width of cotton every single time. A difference of a millimeter when you're pulling it off, or how much actually sticks and doesn't come with your thing, can make a difference on tiny mouth-to-lung devices.
It is. I mean, wicking, it's a trial and error thing, and, if you've got a more forgiving tank, you can get away with, not great wicking, but, for some tanks, you just cannot. You've got to get it right, and unfortunately, you've got to persevere. But it's like Alex said, it sounds like, you're choking, the cotton at the bottom. Maybe you need to thin it out or put a little less in or something like that.
Yeah. And when you get to the mouth-to-lung stage, it's a little bit less than you need to have for like your direct lung stuff. For your direct lung stuff, I emphasize a lot of time about when you have enough tension in there to just barely try and move your coils as you're pulling the cotton through. With the mouth-to-lung one, it isn't as much. I would lean towards a little less than enough on a mouth-to-lung coil than I do with too much, like I do on these bigger drippers and stuff.
Definitely. It's like I say, maybe use a thinner wick or thin your wicks out.
And make sure that the liquid that you're using is thin too. Try a 50-50 liquid.
Yeah, the liquid could be, if you're using Max VG, that could be an issue.
Yeah, that's a big thing. When I mixed up the bottle for my wife, I used this one shot, the icy pole. I use that, and I changed the recipe. Instead of a 70-30, this was a 50-50 mix when I make the one shot of this. Because you need that thinner fluid in order to be able to wick inside the cotton, because you only have a little tiny bit of cotton inside there for that little tiny coil.
I mean, like I said, the issue you're talking about with that MTL, it's not just down to them. You can have exactly the same issues with a normal, direct to lung coil. You can have exactly the same. You can choke your coils. It is very subjective, and it's trial and error. But you will get there. You will get there.
Muji pads. There's a reason why Phil Basardo loved the Muji pads, and he was directly mouth to lung vapor the whole time. When you pull one of these pads out, it's very thin to begin with.
It's thin, yeah.
So it's easier to get an accurate, size for your multiple wickings. When you deal with a specific size going across like this, if you cut this in half and then cut it in half again, you're going to get the right diameter to be able to use to create a wick. And it's always going to be consistent amount because this pad has a consistent thickness the whole way through and consistent density.
Normally I go half again, and that quarter of a pad is normally just nice for 3 milli coils. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Because I use that all the time in me drippers. I never use cotton. I always use that in me drippers.
An experience. As time goes on, you'll get better at it, and you'll know exactly how much you need. Yeah. You'll know when you go and you rip the edge of the sheet off. That took too much off. Do I have too much remaining on this? Or is this going to be working the way it needs to? You take it off the other side, you see just hairs sticking out just barely at all. And that's your perfect amount of cotton for you to be able to wick. And all the strands go straight up and down.
I mean, like I say, I can sometimes tell. I mean, if I'm like vaping and let's say normal mouth to lung, and it's starting to you get that burning sensation, or you feel it's dry, I'll pop the deck off, and if you look at your cotton, you can see where it's not wicking. So if it's choking it, your ends will be dry and your coil will be wet. Or if you've wicked it too tight, you'll tend to find that your coils will be dry and your wicks will be a bit wet. It's just looking and an experience, and it's but that's kind of where I start if I have problems, especially when you're reviewing new tanks. When you wick and you think, oh god, that's not right, and then you open it up and then you can look, see where it's wet and where it's dry. Vape shoelace cotton, very nice. Muji, yep.
Awesome sauce.
Thin the wick near the coil. Yep.
So let's jump overhead and take a look at this Mike's Vapes Rebirth.
Yes.
And since I have this Muji pad out, I'm going to use that to wick this thing up. I actually went and watched his introductory video on this morning to get a refresher because it's been so long since I looked at this.
It is a nice drip of that. I do have it lying about somewhere. It's really nice.
And people were complaining when he did this that, oh, it still leaks, it still leaks. You know what? Any leak that any tank that you squonk is going to leak if you over squonk.
Squonk it.
There's so many people that are just prone to over squonking. Squonking is like everything else. It's like wicking. You learn how far to push in, how long to hold that button in. And some mods, the silicone bottle is really tough, and the other ones are really pliable.
But you can see by the height of the airflow, inside that tank, inside that RTA, that you've got to squonk an awful lot of juice for that to go over the top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, straight from my thumb all the way up to the bottom of this airflow.
Pretty high.
That's a lot of juice capacity.
Yeah.
So if you're over squonking, well, it's going to happen. And another way to minimize that is when you tuck your cotton in, tuck it in so it's literally going to go over the squonk pin.
Yeah.
So your squonk, when you push on that, doesn't literally shoot straight up and then fall back down and drip off of your coils. You only want to fill the deck. You don't want to shoot it up and cover your coils with it.
You don't want to wet your coils with it. You want it to fill the deck. You want to soak the cotton. That's the name of it.
Yeah, you soak the cotton on the bottom, it wicks it up to your coils. Yeah, and this one's a flathead.
I think it's the only thing you've got to be careful of with when you're wicking RTA is to obviously leave, the gap under the coils for the air to get, under. And that's basically, you can just stuff for the rest, you can put the wick pretty much where you want it.
Yeah, and the nice thing with this one is you've got the airflow channels. Your coil is going to be right here. Exactly. And the airflow is going to be perfect on that. This thing should be a nice flavor. My only issue with these kind of setups is you have to prep your coils so that they come back and they come down like this. Like my fist is the coil and your leads face this way and then you pull them out.
That's right, yeah.
Then again, that's just my OCD. You watch him do it, he just drops the coils in there and then straightens them out. Yeah. They're both crooked and then he straightens them both out.
This is it.
And I think for today, I'm just going to use some of these fused Claptons from Geek Vape. These ones.
Oh.
26 gauge times 3. It's Canthol wire wrapped in nichrome. 36.
Is that the 0.3 joule, Jai? That's a 0.3, yes. So that'll be
0.3 will come out to 0.15.
1.15 joule.
With 2.
They don't look too bad.
Yeah, they look really nice. And you see, this one's a dual, and then this one's a triple. So if you wonder how to tell the difference.
Yeah. Tell by the wrap, or the outside wrap. Mm.
They look real nice.
Mm. Not bad looking then. Like I say, some of these manufacturers' coils are actually getting better now as well, aren't they? You know what I mean? Before they used to be awful.
And actually,
pull them tighty. That doesn't look too bad.
I'm going to have to cut those off, but let me prep this other one before we do.
I think that was my only gripe without them sharing the posts, but it does make it a little bit fiddly.
All right, now inside this box is a coily tool. I don't know if there's any URLs on the back of the box. Yeah, there is. But it does specifically say, let me cover up the URL. There is a coily tool included in the kit. And if you don't use their coily tool, to cut them to 6.5 millimeters.
Yep.
You can do it that way, or some people prefer to do it this way.
Just catch up on chat there a bit. William Dobson said his guide is you should be able to move the cotton back and forth with little tension. That will be due down to the wicking we're talking about. We have Space Turtle 1. He likes BP Mods Cotton Pro, 0.85 meters for 3mm coils for under $4 to $5.
Well, that's a good price.
My opinion, 1929 was obviously agreeing with me with the top airflow RTAs. He only buys top airflow RTAs. Oh, and Becca and Nicole's. Hiya, Hunky Vape. I miss being here. I've been so busy lately. So happy to be here today. Happy vaping.
Well, thank you for coming out. All right. I followed his advice, 6.5 millimeters. This is going to put it pretty low in the tank. But that's what he calls for. That's what we're going to do. And this is the only part of this type of a deck.
Yeah. When they're sharing the post, it'll be bloody fiddly.
And it's even harder when you're trying to keep it on camera.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bit of a mess. But yeah.
Would that fit in there, all right?
Get them in the same height, it should be good. I think this the thing with that RDA, as long as you leave the coils, like the legs, long enough so you can pull them out over the airflow. If you do them too short, you're not able to pull them out.
That's what happens when you have it on the wrong switch.
Oops.
You burn your finger.
Not good. It's what they call a vape tattoo, isn't it? When you burn
Yes.
your finger with oil. Permanently scars your fingerprint. That doesn't look too bad, man. Once you have a tweak with them. Yeah, well, that's it. Final nip. Look good then. They look alright. Look really good. Do, 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 do. Wow.
I need a stronger mod for these beefy coils.
Oh yes, you need to get a bit of power through them.
All right. Let's not muck around.
William
We'll pull out the
Dobson.
Dove Odin.
William Dobson said he's paid £2 each for 200 Muji pads in a clearance sale with free postage. Whoa, that'll last you forever, that.
That's a nice deal.
Last you forever, that. Muji pads to do. I think I've still got about half a bag, and I've had it a year and a half, I think. They do last a long time, like. Best value for money you'll ever get. Looking good. Ooh. There we go. Come on. Ooh. I say they might need you to play a tune on them, buddy. Nearly there. Ooh, a couple of little hot spots in there. Let's see what we've got now.
There's one side here.
tweaking a pinch and a twiddle and a diddle.
You know, it's not in the hallway.
Yeah. Get a good contact on it, yeah.
The joys of doing it live.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Space Turtle says he orders Muji from the home page. William Dobson is still in his first pack over a year later. Yeah, but it doesn't last forever, Muji. Absolutely awesome stuff.
The downfall of this mod. Don't push down on it.
Oh, the battery door.
It's even worse.
Ooh.
Back to the basics. Straighten it out. Loosen this up. Lose the batteries because they want to fall out.
Oh my God.
Let gravity do the work.
Yeah. I bet you if you weren't live now, you would have done that first time near bother.
Probably. But that's all right.
Hey, dear me. It's so annoying when shit like that happens. In with the berries. Oh, dear me. Me bones.
Ohms out of 0.17.
That's pretty close towards what we had in mind. Oh.
There's a lot of heat in them. A lot of mass in that coil.
Yeah. It's getting there. Getting there. Slowly but surely. Yeah. Just goes to show, like, sometimes you've just got to twiddle and tweedy them in gently.
Yeah, because when you squeeze too hard, these ones are shot.
You kill them.
All right. So much for that idea.
But the basics. Oh dear.
Let's move on to something else.
I think we better before that gets launched across the room.
Nah, it's not going to go across the room, but
I think it would all by me, like, get out of it. Oh my
Gone.
God.
Gone.
Oh yeah. You squished it? It's squishy squashy now.
You know, even when you get a bad set of coils, pays to use them. Because once you know they're bad, you ain't buying another set of them.
Yep. Yeah, William Dobson said that was the only downside with that dripper is the layout of the posts.
Yeah, having to share the
It's
the
not
layout.
I that was kind of the downfall when I did it as well, because it can be finicky, and like you've seen, you can get one coil that'll burn in lovely and then one will not, and so it but on other days you would have probably done it first time, no problem.
Yeah.
Just because we're live, it all goes pear-shaped.
It also doesn't help that it tells you to cut it to 6.5 millimeters, and look
I
how
think
the lead falls.
Yeah, I think it just you've got.
If I would have cut
the
those even to 7 millimeters,
yeah,
that would
It's
give a
just
little more room.
yeah, it's just cutting the length so you've got room to pull it over. That's what you're looking for in the length, just so you can get it pulled over the airflow. I mean, maybe it's 5.5 mil, but you know, you're talking 0.5 mil.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a bit of a.
And unlike when I do it on camera, when I put these coils in, I instinctively put my finger over them to keep them held down.
Once you get it there, like the flavour and everything's pretty cool up. It's quite nice. It'll be worth your perseverance, trust us.
I hope so.
Oh, it's not a bad drip actually. Not the best, but not the worst. That'll narrow it down a bit for you, won't it? Be lovely with peach custard in it.
Maybe.
I'm getting terrible, man. Am I going to be? I should change my name. The Vaping Custard. The Custard King. Oh, thanks for that one. Space Turtle 1 said it's like two brothers sharing one room, ends in chaos. Nice one. I can't relate to that because I used to share my room with my brother as a kid.
I did.
William Dobson is asking, how did the toffee cake juice come out?
I'll have to pull it out of here and try it out.
So it's a tester now.
Finally. 6.5 hours later.
Right. Sometimes, like I say, maybe it's best to space them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're there, you see? Perseverance, patience. You'll get there.
Even the sound effects don't work. Thank you, Windows. I have to reprogram all those buttons.
Wow.
That's an Elgato. They should be able to have a default button for all the sound. All right. I still got to wick this thing.
What I'm there. You haven't got the voice activation command by any chance in Windows, have you? You know, just picking up these random commands and doing stuff.
No, but I honestly thought about setting it up for OBS. Using the same software that prints out all that stuff.
Yeah.
I can just call for the scene changes.
Just change now.
Overhead scene now.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, that's freaky. I said something I know wasn't programmed, but the printer printed right when I got done saying it. I'm like, did I do that?
That's
Mallory Gates, don't apologize for being late. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, dear me. Nice to see you, Mallory. You've missed all the fun, actually. Happy days. I wonder if I don't know if you can hear that. No, I'll leave it. I was going to touch something there, but I thought, no, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Nice squeakiness to this Muji cotton.
There you go.
Just roll it in your thing. OCD is horrible.
Nah, you're terrible, you like. I used to be, but I've kind of mellowed out a little bit now because it's not worth getting stressed out over.
Well, I don't get stressed out over it. I just spend forever trying to get one task done.
Oh, I used to go nuts. Well, that wasn't OCD for me. People are dawdle trying to do something. Oh, I used to get stressed out over OCD stuff. Jesus. Yeah. And Mallory Gates says that's what the replay crew is for. Yep. Becca, same here. Mallory Gates, just been so busy living on the ranch. She's been taking care of cows, pigs, goats, water and food. Become quite a lot.
Awesome.
Ranch.
I should pitch these. Broke the tip off of it. And it's missing a screw.
Yeah, I've done that with loads of them. Absolutely loads of them. Oh, that's not good either. I'm sure you will find a deal where you can get some of them. Nearly there.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Very good. Very good. Now, what are we going to vape?
That was a bit of a battle, but you got there.
Oh, let's see here. Clean my desk off.
Dusty County Road is asking, do you have to fluff Muji? I wouldn't. Not in a dripper. Not really.
It depends on what you're going in.
Yeah. Oh. Obviously, you know, don't pack it in tight, but you know, you don't really have to fluff it if you can get away with it.
The whole point of fluffing it is to make sure that the ends of the cotton, when you snip it, isn't matted down. If you have really sharp scissors and it doesn't mat it down, especially in a dripper, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you get another tank like, you know, that you need to put the dam method in. You need to make sure that all of those are fluffed out.
Yeah.
And like the arbiter likes it when you thin out the ends.
Mm-hmm.
When you thin out the ends, there's room for juice to come through that opening, and then it'll wick it up.
I suppose, like I say, it's probably more for RTAs and that, but I think with RDAs, they're more forgiving. You can get away with a bit more. Oh God, that Daryl has said, give it time, the FDA will sit there and take away our tweezers too. Oh, I love it.
I'm getting fancy. I'm setting up a poll.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mallory,
We officially have a poll in chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just looking at Mallory's comment there. He says he normally takes the top layer off his Muji.
Yes, I did take the top layer off.
Yeah. I think he's just answering Dusty County Roads questions.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Stuff like that. He's helped the guy out. I do both sides, me, actually. I don't really leave the skins on, like, well, I call them the skins. I don't really leave them on. I peel both sides. That's just my personal thing. Grape, peach tea, strawberry, pineapple, core.
Get your votes in now.
That bottom one sounds nice. Strawberry, pineapple, coconut.
I thought I disabled this. Apparently not when I did the update for StreamerBot. Didn't quite work out.
Oops, sorry, my dogs. Sorry about those. My dog's barking in the background there. Somebody must be visiting. Oh. Peach tea. Either way, we can see how much it was. $14.99. For $14.99, it must be bloody good.
That's their clearance price.
Really? Wow.
That's their clearance price.
Phew. I want to be paying that. Jesus.
And it's just a 60 mil.
60 ml and all? You're kidding.
Nope.
Oh,
The box is a lot bigger than the actual bottle.
I don't even pay that for one of them. 120 mil. I don't even pay that much.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
That's my other flavour, by the way. You know how I showed you that cherry cake Dodgers? Well, this is the yellow mess. This is the other one that I like.
Ah.
And the flavour profile on this is a buttery biscuit base with a sweet lemon cream topping. And it's true to its taste. Beautiful. There you go. There's a challenge. Get a DIY version of that. That'll do me lovely. Thank you. Ting. I'll place my order now.
Well, there's our music.
Oh, we're back.
It's working again. No, it's not working. Can you guys hear Kenny, or do you hear the music coming through his input too?
Just put the sound on right. Just a moment. I can hear your music on my end.
Yeah, full blast.
Did you hear that, did you? Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, folks.
I didn't realise.
For some reason, the music is going through two channels. One that's the volume's turned way down to like minus 40. And for some reason, it's also coming through Kenny's audio.
There you go. What do we do? What do you do? Eh dear. That's one of the things that used to confuse me anyway about live stream was like your virtual in and your virtual out and your virtual this. I was like, oh god. I just got lost in it. Totally lost.
I don't know. And the thing is, I don't hear it because OBS just sends that straight out to you guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just looking at these meters jumping up and down, and I knew something was wrong because the music was playing and Kenny wasn't talking, but his volume levels, according to the meters, were still up max. Oh, sorry about that. Nothing but dangle clacks today. Eventually we'll get this stuff all figured out. So, what do we have here?
I think you can monitor it somehow, like, but I wouldn't. Nah. I'm just plucking at straws, mate.
Closing the poll.
Ooh, where what?
Looks like strawberry, pineapple, coconut takes the win.
Hey, they took my little bit of advice there, 'cause that's exactly what I would have went for. Peach tea would have been second. Grape would have been last. That's my order of preference. Oh dear me. Hey my god. I have to get it on. Oh, I'll tell you what I forgot to do. I forgot to bring my retro device down because we're going to look at some retro stuff, weren't we? And I forgot to get mine down. Do apologise.
The coconut's beautiful in there.
Reminds me a little bit of Malibu. Pineapple coconut. Oh, delightful.
Yes.
Delightful.
Need some more power. You see how it's just boiling off and not vaporizing right away?
Yeah.
Better.
Get plenty on them wicks, my man. Plenty on them wicks and all.
We'll flood the tank a little too. What the hell? Make sure that Muji soaked it all up.
Yep.
And one other bit of advice. You get a tank like this, make sure you lube up these O-rings.
Oh, yes. It does help.
I know that looks disgusting on camera.
That looks disgusting, Alex. Oh, look at all that.
What a mess. Don't you take care of your stuff?
Nope. Just drown it all in e-liquid.
But this is the reason why you gotta. And here's the problem with the soda. These things have been sitting in a box for a long time.
Little lubrication.
If you don't put it on there, it'll unscrew the mod from the tank. Instead of letting you adjust the airflow.
Yeah.
So now it's all on there. We'll give this thing a little clean.
Looks good, man. Looking good.
Wow.
Told you. I told you it'd be worth it.
I love the airflow is just restricted enough.
Not too bad. It is a half decent little dripper. Like I say, if you can persevere and get your build right and everything, it is quite a half decent dripper.
And I love it just the way it is, wide open.
Yeah. Looks good. Looks good.
I'm not getting much of the pineapple, though.
Really? Wow.
I'm getting mainly the coconut. And it's a subdued coconut. More of a nutty coconut.
Yeah. I thought you would have getting like the pineapple hit more, you know, because that's more of like a predominant flavour, isn't it? Like a citrusy flavour.
It's just sweet enough. It's not one of those ones that's sickeningly sweet. It's not like a candy.
No.
But pineapple juice itself is a very sweet juice.
Yeah.
Even if you eat the pineapple, it's very sweet to begin with.
That's why I thought
It's nice.
I thought you might have gotten a hit of the pineapple first. You know, maybe it's a coconut on the exhale or aftertaste.
Then again, I'm also drinking this tea right now, and this is basically like a green tea with lemongrass and spearmint in it.
I thought you were going to say it was a green tea with pineapple in it.
No. It's got some honey and some lemon on top of it.
I was going to say, no wonder you can't taste the pineapple.
But that is definitely an enjoyable vape. Coastal
Yeah.
Clouds, you did a great job. Yeah, I like it.
It's not a bad RTA. It's quite good once you get the fine-tuned and get the grips with it. It's a bit old school, I suppose, in a way, like sharing the deck, like, you know, two coils sharing the same post.
Yeah. Well, the dripper is 3 years old.
Oh, I'm talking old school, you know, when you had the
Oh,
old
yeah.
thingy desks, you know, you shared the, oh, what's the name of them again? I mean,
Velocity. The Velocity usually had 2 holes in it, and you offset them.
That was the one I was thinking of, the Velocity deck. God, man, my mind, Jesus Christ.
Mine does the same thing, brother. Don't feel bad.
Even with some of your old mech RDAs done the same. They just had 3 posts, like the old Kennedys, you know, 3 posts, and you shared them, you know, it was that kind of thing. Oh. Do you own a Kennedy? Still nothing comes pretty close to one of them, like, wow, they're good. They're
No,
really good.
I do have the Goon, but I never got my hands on a Kennedy.
I see that we're opposite there. I've got a Kennedy clone, you know what I mean, but I don't own a Goon.
You know what? I think the Goon was overhyped. Maybe back in the day when it first came out, it was the, you know, bee's knees.
Yeah.
But this is way better than the Goon.
Definitely. I think I say it's just the time it came out. Like you said, when it came out, it'll have been, you know, probably the best one on the market. But obviously, like you said, things move on and they get better and better.
I'm going to crank the wattage up, put 100 watts to it, 0.16 ohm. But there's so much mass in those coils.
Oh, they are pretty chunky, like.
That's what it was. The pineapple's coming through now.
A bit more heat.
Wasn't enough heat.
So you have 0.16. Calculate. Wait, I've just consulted my little watt calculator. And it reckons for a cool vape, 81 watts. For a vapor vape, or a norm like a mid-range vape, 95.6 watts. And for a warm vape, 110.2 watts. So
Okay.
you're kind of there, aren't you? I don't know if you can actually see that. Get a focus on that. There you go.
Yep.
Kind of what I use.
100 watts, it's delicious.
Yeah.
I'm getting all three of the flavors now. The strawberry is the subtlest of the bunch. You
Yeah.
get the pineapple as the lingering flavor, and your initial, when you hit it, is the coconut.
Like I say, I sometimes just use that for a guide sometimes, because sometimes I wander around through the wattage and I'm thinking, I can't quite get this. Well, I'll start with that and then work either up or down,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow, what's that? Raja Nargol has been suspended indefinitely by his club Royal Antwerp. The midfielder was caught smoking an e-cigarette. It's not smoking, it's vaping an e-cigarette in the dugout before the game against... Really? Wow.
That is unbelievable.
That's terrible. Smoking, yes, but vaping? Come on.
My entire life, I've been watching baseball players dip and spit
Yeah.
all day long on the pitcher's mound. And here we have somebody that's making a healthier choice, and he's getting suspended.
That's crazy. The same with
Space
the football.
Turtle 1, hello to the stream. Oh, I love RDAs and a velocity deck.
That's it, aye. It's the same with the football over here. You see footballers, they get hockling, spitting all over the football pitch, nothing said.
Yeah, but at least over there, the sports teams can be sponsored by vape companies.
True enough.
I covered that a couple times in the news too. Geek Vape was sponsoring the football leagues over there.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
It is, definitely.
What's the world coming to?
Oh, it's mad.
That's what happens when corporations and profits are put above people. That's all they care about is making more money. It's a sad reality we live in.
It is just all powered by the money.
Now, the only downfall is this is an all stainless steel tank, if I'm not mistaken, construction on it. And that is retaining a lot of that heat from those chunky coils.
I think it will get warm, won't it?
But he's got a nice nice drip tip on there. I really like that. It's nice and warm, large in size and diameter. It's tall enough. You can avoid your lips making contact with the tank.
Yeah.
Becca Nichols agrees. Very sad world we live in. And that's why, I put that video out rather than putting the news together. I put that video out about the We Vape, We Vote rally. This is to energize the vapors out there and get them to participate in the political process. If you have a candidate that represents you and doesn't support your beliefs like we believe in vaping to quit smoking, it's time to vote them out.
Yep.
And this bus tour is forcing the politicians to take a stand one way or the other. You should have done it a long time ago, in my opinion.
That's how it was done in the UK. They went straight down the political route.
You have to, because that's eventually where the laws are going to be passed. And it's not about who's president.
Nope.
You can have some jerk off in there that goes against every belief you have, and all this guy does is sign off on whatever Congress passes. Your representatives are the ones that make the laws and write the laws to get passed. And if we don't have enough of a stand up, they're going to just walk all over us.
It's like you see your president and over there and now prime minister over here. They're just the puppets. They're just the face of the politics.
There's a figurehead.
It's the people behind them that make the decisions. I'm still vague on American politics. You've got Congress and you've got this house, you've got that house. All them with the guys that do the wheeling and dealing type of thing, aren't they?
Each state gets 2 senators.
Yeah.
And that is your Senate. And then each area, based on population, gets a representative for the House of Representatives. So the House of Representatives has like 400 some members in it that is evenly distributed and recalculated based upon the census. So that, each representative basically represents, 100,000 people or whatever the figure is. And You need to be able to go and contact the people that represent you based on where you live and let them know how you feel about vaping.
Yeah. Or if they don't agree, vote them out. Just say, well, I'm not backing you. It's as simple as that. That's kind of the way we do it.
Yep. And each state has its own laws and has its own Congress, and the governor is like the president for each state.
See, it's probably easier for easier for us to govern our land, if you will, because purely land mass. The UK, we're just a little island. Like America, you're huge. It's a massive country to govern and run. So that's probably the big difference. With some of these votings and politics that run in different countries. Us are easy to govern. Like I say, we're just a little island. We've got one country called Scotland, one country called Wales, and a little island over there called Ireland, and that's basically us. We're tiny. You probably got a state in America that's bigger than all of them combined. You know what I mean?
Free Ride Vapor, hello and welcome to the stream.
Oh, Free Ride, how are you doing, Sat?
Yeah, but it ultimately boils down to the fact that, your country and our country is really not that much different. Yeah, the land mass is different, the population's different, but you have rural areas up north in England.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have densely populated cities like London and New York, and they have a much stronger vote in government than the rural populations.
Oh, definitely.
That's the reason we have senators that represent the entire state, just two to represent the whole state. That way each state is equally represented.
I'm with you. Yeah.
But like California is so densely populated throughout the entire thing, and it's such a large state that they have the most power over the entire government of all the states in the country.
Purely like a numbers game, isn't it, really, when you
Yep.
think about
And
it?
that's why Bloomberg is spending so much money to fight that proposition right now to go against the laws of vaping, because once it gets passed in California, that's kind of like the tipping scale on the seesaw going, hey, man, we're now at an even keel. We only need a couple more states to tip it on the federal level.
That's right, yeah.
So he's dumping all of his money in there, and he's spending more on the proposition about vaping than they've spent on 3 or 4 other propositions that are going to be voted on combined. And it's up to us, our individual voters' rights have to stand up against all that money.
Definitely. But like I say, I mean, the political route worked for us, so, I'd say that's the road you need to go down if it's possible. I mean, it's like you say, how many senates are in the pockets of the pharmaceutical countries and the vape companies, and how obviously this the master settlement agreement thing's got a lot to do with it as well. So we've got bonds sitting there that they've obviously got to pay back, and they haven't got the funds to do it. So they're going to promote smoking all the way.
Yeah. There's so many financial vested interests against the independent vaping industry that it's a tough fight, but one that we all need to get behind and actively participate in. At least let the politicians know how you stand on the subject. Don't wait for somebody else to do it.
I don't know I don't know the ins and outs, but I don't know if there's any truth in it. I think the bonds were due for payback. I think, was it last year or this year or something? They didn't have enough, and that was going to literally bankrupt some states.
Yeah. New York, I think, was one of the states where they heavily diversified the bonds to cover what they expected to come in from cigarette sales, and
which didn't.
And it's not. It's quickly dropping. I mean, this technology is, you can't put the rabbit back in the hole.
No.
And if they ban it and they prohibit all the stores, guess what? Everybody's going to buy it on the black market. We've already got so many circles and friends, and the vaping is a community. If all the stores disappeared, believe me, there's plenty of people out there that can supply you with the coils, supply you with the mods. There's machine shops that'll come out of the woodwork to build these things.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's not going away.
It's no. You can say it's supply and demand, isn't it? While somebody wants it, somebody will supply it. Doesn't matter what it is. But the only downside with that is it's not, there's no control, there's no regulation, so it's at your own risk then.
Yeah.
It's a shame. A shame.
But this is where we stand, so we need to do our part and get our friends involved in the process as well.
Well, I've got a suggestion for you. When you go to the
Rally.
road show, the vape show, take yourself a camera. Let's have a few shots of it. Make
I'm
a
going
video
to.
of that. Make a good video of that.
I'm going to take 2 of my cameras. I'm going to set them up and,
I would definitely be interested in having a look at that.
get some filming of that, get some filming of this vape shop. I've never been to Coilhead Vapors before, and I'd like to film their actual speeches that they did. I put them in the news report that they uploaded to Twitter, but I want to be able to actually do it myself and, ask them a couple questions. How can vapors get more involved and instead of just waiting for a call to action to take place from CASA, how can they become more involved in the political process and prevent these laws from coming through in the first place?
Be interesting, definitely. I would definitely like to say that.
All right. Well, I suppose we ought to make something today.
Yeah, nah. How
This
far
is a
will we
Mixin
get?
and Chillin show. So let's hop over. Let's see if our zoom in works. Yes, it works. Fantastic.
Something's working anyway.
At least something's working right. I spent all this money to try and keep up with technology, get the new router and stuff, and knock on wood, we haven't skipped a beat as far as our connection goes.
Hey, God, honestly. Sorry, I'm just enjoying this yellow mess. It's pretty lovely.
Nothing to apologize for. And to be honest with you, you can't even see it on camera hardly at all.
I know, but it doesn't feel like it though. Jesus, my lights have gone blurry.
See, I have a ceiling fan I put up in my office, in my studio. So it dissipates it really quickly.
I did have a one, but it just died. I had a little desktop fan. It was spot on, but it just died.
So what
Then
are
I
we
was-
going to make today?
I kind of stopped vaping in the house. We just didn't bother replacing one. I shouldn't really be vaping in the house.
Yeah, I know.
I get wrong.
I was doing some research. I got another video I'm working on about Bloomberg gave this speech, and I'm literally going to be tearing apart each thing that he brings up in the speech and how it didn't age well from the speech that he originally gave. But it gave me a lot of insight into how tobacco control looks at all this stuff that's out there and how they frame the picture. And it's really irritating that they look at us as nothing more than a tobacco shill. Because it's the same game that they dealt with back in the 50s and 60s. They had the flavors to deal with, and, they got all the flavors banned from cigarettes, and here we are coming out with a brand new modern technology product. It's nothing but flavors, and it's entrapping the kids and blah, blah, blah. Not realizing how much of a fool they look like when they sit there and you look at, we drink flavored vodka.
Exactly. You've got alcohol now that actually tastes like pop. You can, you don't even realize you're drinking alcohol until, the alcohol kicked. The smell, it just feels like you're drinking a soda. You know what I mean? There's no alcoholic kick or anything like off a bourbon or a whiskey. There's nothing. It just feels like soda. And the next
Mate,
thing
the
you know,
line over here crossed the other way. Mountain Dew has come out with a spiked Mountain Dew.
Jesus.
It's a soda company that's selling boozed soda.
Mountain Dew, yeah, it's nuts. But the other side of the argument, you know yourself, we're all teenagers once, and you do experiment, and you will try literally everything. You know what I mean? And whether it be drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, even vaping's going to fall in that category now. Especially like your 50 milligram pods where you get that, what they call a backy buzz off it. So it's part of the, the parcel of growing up. And like I say, with me, the thing that stuck with me was smoking. I wasn't really bothered with drinking. It was the smoking that stuck with me. And you know, and that's what I ended up doing most of my life, you know, just through that experimentation.
Mm-hmm. So here we have DIY or Die Wayne has this watermelon recipe, and here somebody is taking it and up the percentage of the flavors for a pod style vape. And this goes for you, Dusty Country Road. For your wife's juice, you need to up the percentages of the total flavoring ingredients to facilitate that little tiny vapor that's made in that little tiny pod so that the concentration is stronger. And obviously for your, direct lung, you don't need to have it at 27% flavoring to be able to get a nice flavorful experience. But since I'm going to be doing a review on this X Slim from Oxva,
you're going to make some pod juice.
I'm going to make some pod juice. That's going to be our recipe for today.
Yeah, and like I say, it could work in an MTL tank as well if you made it thin enough. You know what I mean? Up the flavour, definitely.
And I'm going to change this to a 50-50. And it didn't scream or complain about anything. Yeah. So we should be good. I'm going to save that just as it is. And there is our recipe for today. So let's grab up some flavors here. Capella's Double Apple.
Sorry I missed you there, Vapor Queen. Vapor Queen Becky's in the house. How you, darling?
TFA Dragon Fruit. Super sweet. Flavora Watermelon and Flavora Wild Melon.
I'll tell you what I've noticed, buddy. You've still got that blinging blue box in chat.
Oh yeah, that's going to stay there since the poll was actually there. It'll stay at the top of the thing.
I'm with you. Well, there we go. Mallory Gates said, for Christ's sake, another Willie not working study from vaping.
Now I know I ordered this wild melon, and I know it should be here in this rack.
Oh. Now your OCD will go mad now if you've got them all labelled up and you can't find it. Sean Lynch Blue Raspberry Slush.
There we go.
Found it.
It was hiding with the nature flavors.
Ah. I wonder who put that there.
Hanging out with his little bud.
I wonder who put that there. That's always said that. Bloody hell, it's getting cold here.
All right.
Oh my God. Right. I think we're pretty much caught up with chat as well. We have the top view, boys and girls.
Fantastic. Start off with our Capella Double Apple. $3 grams.
Do you think this will be a good shake and vape, or do you think I'll need to steep it?
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
From what I've heard about it. I bought the ingredients to mix this up in the regular recipe and never got around to doing it.
Oh, I see.
So as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah. Because after the show's done today, I'm going to mix up the actual recipe of it and put that into an arbiter and find out what it's really supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to compare this Oxva X Slim to see if it's
So
just as
close,
flavorful or is the flavor even more present. And it's the same company that made both of them, so.
Ah. There you go.
Dragon fruit, 1.54.
I'm just fanning about. What's that? Live chat. Up there. Bingo. Got
That drop should have been in that bottle.
What's that?
All right. Flavora watermelon, 2.34.
Sorry guys, I'm just fiddling. I'm fiddling. Fiddling and faffing about.
I've spent the past week fiddling about with these Windows settings and stuff, and like my DaVinci Resolve speed editor, the keyboard, quit working. The lights light up when I open DaVinci Resolve, but it doesn't do anything. Windows says the Bluetooth is connected.
It's just the Windows. I mean, like I say, I've recently gone on to 11. And touch wood up to now. I haven't really had too much bother with it.
I love a lot of the new features of Windows 11. Like my big thing is renaming. Having to go through in Windows 10, you'd have to go through two clicks, 3 clicks to get to, rename a file. Now there's a little bar on the top of your thing when you right click on something, and it has cut, paste, rename, little icons there. Once you learn those, it's like, oh, this is so much faster. Like I create new folder for each of these episodes and just change the episode name. And then any images or files I use on that, they get put on it. Those folders. So it's stuff I do on a regular basis.
I was freaked out by the voice activation thing. I just thought it was so weird.
Well, it's up to you. You can enable it or not enable it.
Yeah, you can definitely enable. I just thought I thought I'd give it a go, and it was just, whoa, this is weird.
Wow, is that fantastic?
I'm talking.
That tastes like that smells like a melon.
Really? Ooh.
We call them cantaloupes.
To be honest, melon's not really me top flavor type of profile, to be honest with you.
That's why there's only 0.77 in here.
Yeah.
You're not going to be actually able to identify the melon in the recipe. It just kind of fills in a bunch of the spaces.
I'm with you. I'm just not a melon fan, period. I don't even eat it as a fruit. I just think, it's just, I don't know, it's something about the taste. I can't get my head around. I don't know.
Watermelon?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them.
Not even watermelon.
Just, nah.
What fruit do you like?
Me? Ooh. Pretty traditional. Apples, oranges, bananas, that kind of thing. I do like pineapple. Pineapple's nice. I'm not very adventurous. I just kind of stick to what I know.
I'm kind of in the same boat when it comes to that.
Yeah. Grapes, I like grapes, but I don't like vaping grapes. So that's a one. That's a weird one.
I vaped grape for the longest time. And then it just got to the point, once I switched away from it, I go back to it, it's like, nah.
I'm not a fan of it as a vape, like.
I am. My daughter hated it, though, because everything smelled like grape, she said. That's a little too much sweetener.
Yeah. Sometimes somebody will come, like the my kids will go, "Oh, can you get this fruit, that fruit?" And I'll go, "What's one of them?" Some of them I've never even heard of.
Oh, there's so many new fruits out on the market. You go to Walmart around here, and it's like, what is this fruit? I've never even heard of it. You have to look it up, and it's like some rare fruit from South America somewhere in some jungle.
I mean, some are seasonal as well over here. I mean, like a big popular thing in Christmas is like satsumas and tangerines. You know, like a smaller orange. They're very, very popular at Christmas. Everybody, and that's kind of when they tend. I mean, I think you can get them all year round, but they tend to bring them more out over the Christmas time. I don't know why.
Went a little bit over on the secret sauce, but this is going into a little pod, so
Oh,
won't even notice it.
nope. Hey, Joey.
We got 5.3 grams.
PG. I'll tell you what, I've got a question. I've never, and it's just out of curiosity. You know, like all these flavourings you've got, are the VG or PG base, or is there a mix?
Most of them are a PG based
Yeah.
flavor profile. Now you get something like Liquid Barn, like you can tell when you squeeze that blue raspberry that it is a blended PG-VG variety. And in the recipe in the ELR, they literally look at the molecular weight of it
Yeah.
to determine, what the percentage needs to be adjusted up or down based on that.
Ah,
But most of them are all PG based.
PG.
And as you can see, sort of.
Hence you're topping it up with the VG. You know, kind of pennies just dropped there.
You can tell that's 50-50 because half the bottle is full of your flavoring in your PG, and then the other half is going to be vegetable glycerin.
Your VG. The pennies kind of dropped there when I've noticed you're topping it up with the VG.
So we're only going to be putting 18.9. Sad. I think this is my last bottle from River Supply.
Ooh. Get your stocks in.
Oh, I did. Remember we got that big liter
Oh, that's right. Yeah, aye.
from Bull City. But I'm not sure if I want to use those big liter bottles when I'm mixing.
Why
They
not?
give you a top for it.
Yeah.
This is going to get transplanted into the smaller bottles.
I think if you're going to make a liter of something, it would have to be something you like very well.
Yes. Like my OG Blue.
There you go. 1 liter of that sorted. But you don't think it'd be like the more you have, the more you vape it?
Nah. And the thing is, I've gotten to the point now where I literally make 3 or 4 120 ml bottles at a time. And that's what both my wife and I end up falling back on.
Ah.
She's got her little pods that she does. She does her disposables and whatnot. And she's using that Freemax one that I did the review on. And loves the thing and actually has been buying commercial little bottles of juice in the higher Nick strength. I says, I can make you whatever flavor you want. She's like, I don't use it that much. I bought one of those little bottles, and because she doesn't use it when she's at home, she uses her direct lung when she's at home. She only uses it on her breaks at work and on her way to work and on her way home.
Yeah.
That bottle lasts her, 3 or 4 weeks.
Good, yeah. I mean, sometimes I can get a bottle that lasts, maybe it's a full week sometimes, but if it's a flavour that I really like, or it's an all-day vape I like, it just doesn't last long. I think it's just one of them ones where you get something that's really nice, you just keep vaping and vaping and vaping it, don't you?
That's the thing. That's why everybody's got their own all-day vape.
Hell yeah. Without a doubt.
And like I said, for me, blue raspberry cotton candy has become mine. I try all these other recipes I have out there, like the Myogi's cappuccino. I've gone through a couple 60 ml bottles of that because I like that, and it's enough that, you know, I'll change up to it. But once I finish off that bottle, it's like I switch to some of the new ones that I make miss recipes on. And it's like, this one's good, or this one needs a little bit more work, or this one needs that, or it's not sweet enough. When I fall back on this OG Blue, I'm always a happy lark, you know, just sitting there enjoying the flavor that I truly enjoy.
Like I say, I've got like really two massive ones. Like I say, it's that yellow mist and that jammy key. Them two, I mean, I could go all day on one and not even switch to the other. You know, I could do a day on one and a day on another one. You know, I wouldn't need to mix and match them. You know, like half a day on one and half a day on another. It would just be all day on one because I enjoy them that much. And you just stand there and you just sit and you chuff and you chuff and you chuff and you chuff, and before you know it, need another bottle. There we go.
And I got it quickly labeled up. I can throw an actual real label on it later, but at least we got it set up.
That's cool.
So I think I'm going to put this on drop just to try it out.
Actually, how it goes. Ooh, 50-50, like, ooh, that means...
Make sure I turn it off so I don't get another tattoo on my fingertip.
Not good. Not good getting tattoos. Or cold tattoos, anyway.
I spent a day in this office trying to get things organized. And while I did get some of the stuff organized, I don't understand it. It's like my wife, when she goes and she'll like clean the living room, she'll spend, you know, a half hour, 45 minutes cleaning the living room, and it'll look 10 times better than when I spend like 2 or 3 hours cleaning the living room. Like it looks like there's a massive change.
Yeah.
I don't understand how she can just bing, bang, boom, and it's all done.
No.
I mean, part of it comes down to the fact that, you know, I sit there and I evaluate, you know, am I going to use this again? Do I need to keep this readily available, or do I just put it up in the attic, or do I just toss it? She always errs on the side of just pitching it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. I haven't used it. It's been sitting here. Gone.
I used to have them in my clothes, actually, when my wife used to go through the wardrobe. I'd say, I'm sure I had a blue shirt. Yep, I've been that ages ago. It was horrible. Oh, charming, thank you. I was looking forward to that.
That's nice in there.
My opinion, 1929 added blue slush is an all-day vape. You agreed with it?
Blue slush, all day vape. Yep. Ooh, so much thinner. 50-50.
That's what I'm saying.
Back when they had the cigalikes, though, I mean, this was the only thing that really was available.
Oh, God, aye.
And man, does that soak into the cotton so well. It's a different animal.
It is. There you go. There's a perfect example there for a Dusty Road Vape. You can see how well it soaks in with it being thinned out. So it'll work at treating your MTL.
It'll wick way better, even with the exact same cotton you were doing before.
Exactly.
This is the only real fault with the drop. No stops.
Aye.
You gotta line up your airflow.
Old technology, but good. Oh, I keep dropping that down there again.
0.35 ohms. Definitely get more of a throat hit. Then again, with the higher PG, you're going to get a better throat hit anyway. Even with the low nick. That watermelon's probably going to take a day or two to come to actual flavor. Getting that melon.
What did you go
I like
on?
it. 42.
42. I tell you what is, I don't need a calculator when you're around. Have a look at that. Reckons max 50.4. Ooh.
It's good, but it's not going to be my all-day vape.
No.
I'm curious to see what the wife's opinion of it is. And that melon really does come through. It's not like overbearing or overpowering.
Yeah.
Like I said, in 24 hours, that watermelon's going to settle into this. And I think it's going to be a beautiful layered vape. Well, he knows what he's doing, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a good one, that's one for the...
This is where temp control would be fantastic.
Would that be your wife's flavour profile? Like a melon, just like melon?
Oh, she's going to like that coconut.
Ah.
She liked the peachy mango guava I made.
Ah.
Peach, mango, and guava flavor.
That'll be good.
She went through a couple bottles of that I made her. But she gets tired of stuff. She likes to change it up every so often.
Mm.
It's delicious, and it's just sweet enough. I like it. My opinion 1929 says Kenny's a light vapor.
Yeah. Only because I'm in the house.
Yeah, outside he'll be chucking clouds. Well, I'm glad I mixed that.
To be honest with you as well, when I got me A-liquid, he didn't have any Nick salts, so I'm on Nick shots now, and it's a bit
Ooh, harsh on your throat.
I'm not used to them now. It's been a while since I've Vape free-based Nick, like, and you can tell.
Oh yeah, just pull some zero Nick out. Vape it, that'll get rid of all the throat hit.
It's not too bad, I think it's just a case of getting used to it again. But I kind of like don't want to get used to it because I like me salts. So if you get used to that, See, it took us a little bit of time to transition from that to salts, because compared to that, you go on salts and you're thinking, there's actually any nicotine in this. You know what I mean?
Sean Lynch says that his all day is rhubarb and custard by Chubby Juice.
Another man to my heart, custard.
70-30, 0 milligram.
You see?
You'd be surprised how many people out there are 0 milligram vapors.
Oh, I know a couple.
The videos that I put out there originally were back when I was down to 0 milligram. Before I started going, back to using the Nick. But I use the Nick for medicinal reasons.
But that's my dilemma. If you're down to Z, see, this is kind of like a dilemma, right? You vape to quit smoking, so if you get down to 0 nicotine, yep, that's brilliant, but do you still need to vape after that?
You answered your own question at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It's the behavior. It's the hand-to-mouth ritual. It's the coping mechanism for stress in your life. You've trained yourself over the course of years when you smoked to go outside for a smoke break. It withdrew you from the situation that got you frustrated. It lets you relax and calm down, reset your brain, think about something else for a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't need the nicotine to get the benefits of vaping.
That's kind of the point I was like edging towards there. Like, it's like you've kind of said it for us, because I was going to say, like, you've like said, right, you get down to 0 nick, but you've still got that habit. That's, you know what I mean, and that's probably why. Because obviously you're not needing the nicotine anymore. Then you're just doing it out of friggin' habit.
Out of habit.
So
but you did bring up the good point, though, and that's the habit is much more than nicotine replacement therapy. That's why other methods of quitting smoking don't work.
Yeah.
This can replicate all of it and give you pleasure and satisfaction in a different way than what cigarettes do. But it's just close enough that we mimic the same behaviors and we don't have to change our whole life and the way we do deal with things and do things.
Definitely. Yep. It's weird, the old mind up there, isn't it? Very weird.
Yep.
The old grey matter. What I've got left of it anyway.
And as we get older, we're all going to be prone to forgetting stuff and whatnot. And that's another reason why I started to use the Nick again, because I read all the scientific papers out there. They're doing research on using nicotine patches on non-smokers to alleviate them from the worsening of their dementia, to alleviate their forgetfulness, to alleviate any signs of depression, so they don't have to take antidepressant medications. Just giving them a nicotine patch to treat their depression.
I suppose I could say nicotine itself probably has got some medicinal purpose, you know what I mean, on its own, like you say.
It's like coffee.
Yeah.
In so many different ways. People drink their caffeine and, they use that as that's how they wake up in the morning. Without their coffee, they're like, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah. I mean, to like moving off topic a bit, like, how like we're like, we're still capable of building stuff like this and all this stuff, right? We're still capable of building it. But like you say, as old age catches up with us and, the eyesight goes, our dexterity goes, you think we're kind of going to go back to the beginning where we were? You know what I mean? You're going to go back to sub-ohms, or you're going to go back to that. You know what I mean? You're going to go like a full circle type of thing. You'll have started on the sub-ohms and all that, and you've moved on to the building and the RDAs and everything, and the high wattage vape and all that stuff. But then, like you say, as you get older and you can't do it anymore, you're going to revert back to where you kind of started.
Revert back to stock coils, sub-ohm tanks.
Yeah, is that so weird? You even end up on pods and disposables if it comes to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the wonderful thing about this bellow. The taste is so fantastic. It's like, if I was going anywhere, I could just throw this in my pocket. There's no buttons to mess up with or nothing. It fits in your pocket. You don't have to worry about messing it up. And when you get to the point where you feel like you need that, well, then you just take a drag of your disposable and you're good to go. Or if you go to, with a bunch of friends that are vaping and you just want to partake in the social experience of it.
Yeah. I wonder if I could put that, that puff activated technology into a vape mod, so to speak. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would.
Like I say, you've got a big mod like that, and you don't have to press a button. You just and away you go. It'd be so weird. It'd be a bugger to build with, like, 'cause I don't know how you're gonna suck on your coils. When
Yeah,
you
because
build
you
them.
literally have to have a sensor in the airflow circuit or in the airflow
Yeah.
chamber to realize that there is a suction there, a drop in atmospheric pressure.
It's pressure in it.
And then you could pull that switch open to close the circuit and it would fire the device for you.
Clever stuff. But when you think it's probably a bit like a motor car, like a mass airflow sensor, you know, just the amount of air that's getting sucked through determines how much fuel you burn. Same kind of thing with that, isn't it? It's amazing how these two technologies are very similar.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I think
Yeah,
that
but-
wraps up our day for today. We're at almost 2 hours and 45 minutes.
give over. You're kidding.
No. I've been
Really?
recording for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
You're shitting me here. No way, that hasn't gone that quick. Give over.
And it didn't even have any music because it's still not working right.
What the hell? Where did that go?
I have no idea, brother. I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, I love it. Lordy do.
Thank you for coming, Pam. Greatly appreciate it.
Do you realise my tail now be in the oven?
Yeah. You'll realize that when you get up and go, oh, I guess I was sitting for a couple hours. It's like when you go to the movie theater. You don't think about it until it's over, and then you go, oh, my back. What'd I do?
Was that movie really 3 hours long? Christ almighty.
Yeah. Watching the Titanic or something. All right, sir. I'll leave it up to you to say goodbye. My wish is always, everyone, peace, love, and a hunky vape to end cigarette combustion.
Yep. Again, guys and girls, thank you very much for you all tuning into this show. Again, you guys make the show, as well as Hunky, of course. Again, thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again, same time, same place next week. Till then, take care, boys and girls.
Anti-vaping propaganda is brain poison. Yeah, it really is.
Vaping is better than smoking.